hearing what went on based on what I've been talking about so far.
Mm-hmm.
In that episode, Joe Shane said that we were not going to offer Saquon Barkley a high contract, and it came out to be like 7 to 8 million was what they were willing to go with the running back position. I think we signed Singletary for 6, so
Mm-hmm.
that's not a lie. Do you think the decision to go with Daniel Jones and the weapons and the offensive line was the right decision to move off from Barkley and go with forming a team around the quarterback? Do you think that was the right decision? Like, how do you feel about the whole Saquon Barkley saga?
As far as Saquon Barkley, I have no issues with it per se. I mean, I'm probably one of the few fools who I look at it as it's a business decision on both sides. Saquon wanted his money. I can't be mad at him for getting his money. And the Giants, they did not want to pay. If you look at Dable back in Buffalo, he's always been more of he wants to pass. Now, if he has a quarterback who can run, he's going to run. Did he know how to fully use Saquon in a sense? No, but Saquon also was getting hurt, so he's also, in a sense, not reliable in their system and what they want to do. So, as far as how it went down, I mean, to me, it's, in the end, it's business. I mean, and that's how I look at it. You know, Saquon moved on; they didn't want to pay him the money. Okay, you do what you got to do. You want to allocate some of those resources to other positions. Um, and I understand the sentiment with Saquon. Don't get me wrong, and I'm not, you know, saying Saquon is a terrible back or anything like that. That's not what I'm saying. But everyone always tells me this day and age it's about the quarterback, it's about the passing game. This is a passing league, so on and so forth. Well, if that's the case, then why would you pay a running back? And also, why would you not focus on the offensive line since we've had an atrocity in the offensive line for the longest while? But first of all, let me say to my brother Dash, what's up, bro? Jersey Pride, always good to see you. So, but in terms of the running back position and the way this team is supposed to be, or it seems like they want to do. They want to spread it out a little bit more. They don't want it to load the box up, and they want to make it difficult for defensives. If you're defending a team, the easiest thing to do is have everybody pretty much in a specific area. If you have one or two receivers, three receivers spread out, it's a little bit easier to do that. But when you have multiple receivers, even if you go empty, I hate it on third and short and fourth and short, but that's another story. But when you spread a defense out, it opens up even more gaps, and it makes it harder for a defense to defend and easier for you to attack them. So, and it's all about the offensive line giving the quarterback time. And then when you do use the running, whether you do inside zone, outside zone, some simple things as power, as long as they execute and do what they're supposed to do up front, the alleys are going to be there. So,
That's very true. Dash, what's going on? I'm gonna get to you in a second.
Yeah, no
We ain't
problem.
been seeing eye to eye for a couple of months, but we still cool. You my brother,
That's what's
man.
up. That's
Wish
what's up.
man, wish I could go to a game or something with, man. I gotta see you in person, bro. Pause. But Matt, what do you think about the whole Saquon Barkley saga? Then we're gonna get the Dash, and then we're gonna talk about another thing that we seen on the Hard Knocks episode. It was actually pretty good, Coach. Maybe you want to check it out, maybe not. I know you
it's
10 toes
reality.
down.
It's reality TV. That's how I look at it, man.
That's
You
the only
know,
reason why.
bro. Well, here's the other thing. All right, I'm a coach, right?
Yeah.
I'm not trying to put all my information out there on blast. I'm just like,
That's a
nah, man.
fact. That's a
I, I
fact.
I can't do it. Now, do I think they're going to put out misinformation? Yeah, because they don't want everyone to know everything, and that's why it's like, for me, it's like, all right, it's bull, it's BS. I can't. There's some things that are going to be true, and there's other things, a lot of other things I think they're going to cover up, and I'm just not falling for the clickbait. That's
Well,
me.
this type of hard knocks is not giving up any kind of scheme for the most part.
And every little bit, I'm a coach, Dash. every little bit of information I'm going to
Except for what they
dissect.
said about
I didn't see
Simmons.
it. I didn't see it,
They
so
gave up the goods on Simmons a little bit.
I
But
didn't see
yeah,
it, so I can't
Yeah.
say. But what I'm saying is, if I'm watching it, I'm taking notes, and I'm like, all right, you said this, you said this, you did this, you did that, and I'm gonna sit here and I'm gonna try and dissect every little damn thing. That's me. I'm a fool. I'm a fool. And conversely, I just don't want to give up all the information in a public forum. That's call me
That's a fact.
superstitious.
Because man, the game of football is chess, man. You give anybody any information, they're gonna turn that against you.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Marley Marl. He says Shane is an idiot. Man. If you wanted to part ways with Saquon, at least trade him and get something. There was obviously a market for him because he wasn't a free agent for more than 48 hours. So, based on your prediction, you said there was a huge market for Saquon, right? So if there was a huge market for Saquon, why didn't the Bears give him 15 million when they needed a running back? They went with Swift. Where did Pollard go? I think he went to the Jaguars. No, who did Pollard go
Tennessee.
to? He went to
Tennessee.
the Titans. So why
Yeah.
didn't the Titans give him 14, 15 million if the market was so great for Saquon? Answer that
I
question
guess
for me.
and those two teams got money to pay, right? They had the
Mhm.
money. So I guess nobody wanted to pay that tax of a running back being the second overall pick. I mean, Swift wasn't a first round pick. Pollard, he wasn't a first round pick, and both of them got what, 8 million per. So but that's just the way it is. But back to your question about Barkley, my thing goes back to last year where he didn't get his long term deal, and they waited till like what, right before training camp for him to get that 1 year deal.
Mhm.
And he was doing that interview, and he was letting it be known that they was telling him, like, yo, we don't compare you to CMC, we compare you to Nick Chubb and Derrick Henry. And the thing with Barkley is he doesn't run like them. He's big like them, but he don't run like them. And you don't catch
Mhm.
your ball like CMC. So it's like, and now this year it played out, the big plays were less, the catches were less, like everything was just less. And and that's why he's no longer here. Now people are upset that, well, people are happy that Shane is using analytics against Barkley as to why he's no longer here. But they also want Shane to use analytics to go against Daniel Jones. And that ain't happened. So that's why they pissed off at you know what I mean? Like, so you can't make everybody happy right now.
Yeah, I mean, that's very true. And if you compare them to Henry or Chubb, let's be honest, he's not those guys. He's not as consistent as Henry or Chubb. He doesn't run like Henry or Chubb. So I agree with the whole set. Right before I get to the guys, let me get to this chat real quick. Let guys speak on the whole situation. Sean being an idiot. Come on, man. Sean being an idiot. Daniel Barry, what's going on? Coach PJ, what's going on? NYG, what's going on? What else? He said, Coach says, Coach, hey, I'm bummed you didn't watch it. 'Cause I know you would have some great insight. But Coach, he messed with you. Coach said, take that around the block. E. Rando, what's going on? Iman, he said, it wasn't a huge market. Eagles only did it to weaken the Giants' division opponent. I think the Eagles did it to be like, ha, ha, ha. To us, basically. I mean, they're going to use them the same way they use Swift. Eden Randall, he says, this average beat. Yeah, Matt, it's average beats, ain't it?
Yeah. That's me.
Okay.
I should have put that in there.
No, you're good. Oh man, Darcy in Washington. Thank you for tuning in. Hit that like and subscribe button for us. Joe Clark, he says, happy 4th, gents. US. What's going on, Joe Clark? Good to see you, bro. D Dub, he says it's a reason the Eagles was under investigation. That is very true. The two best NFC teams to pay elite running backs, 49ers and Eagles. Those guys are not just running backs. I mean, that's very true. And Saquon Barkley is dynamic. I'm not going to take that away from him. But would you rather have a number one weapon in the offensive line or Saquon Barkley and continue the same trend that we've been doing, not putting up points? I know Saquon Barkley's a dog, but we ain't putting up points with him like that, right?
Can I ask something real quick?
Yeah.
If Joe Shane took the advice of certain people in that meeting, said basically tag Saquon and see if we can make a trade, and that $12 million gets stuck, Shane is not giving him a long-term deal, right? At all. So now that $12 million is stuck. Now let's say we make all the necessary moves where we don't bring in Illuminor and the Zudu as our left guard. What would be the talking point then?
Hell, are we able to sign? Are we able to trade for Brian Burns? If that $12 million is gonna
Brian Burns is here. Brian Burns is here. But we signed two offensive linemen, but we can only sign one because we gave Barkley the $12 million.
I mean, it's going to be more of the same to me. Well, if we had Neighbors, I don't know, maybe. But if that offensive line can't block, we can't get Neighbors the ball like we supposed to. We can't get Barkley the ball like we supposed to. He's steady running into brick walls as soon as he gets the ball. Me personally, I think they did the right thing, to be honest with you. But I don't think Barkley wanted to be here after last year anyway, to be honest with you, because they didn't give him that CMC money that he was looking for. But I just think they did the right. I think they did the right move. But Dash, what do you think about it?
Oh man, you know how I feel about it. And can you hear me clearly? Because I don't have my mic set up right now. I'm good.
You good? I can hear you.
Okay, good. I agree with you guys, man. He did do the right thing. I believe that Saquon Barkley just became the crutches for the whole New York Giants franchise. You would never, like, whenever anything didn't go right for the offense, they always leaned on Saquon Barkley. So if you take Saquon Barkley away, other people got to step up, and that's what we're going to see this year. So and then also, when you really think about the deal that he did sign, is similar to the deal that was offered to him too, or the rumors of the deal that was offered to him. So he got hit with the reality stick. What happened was in 2022, he thought the market was going to be something different. Obviously, he got the tag and had to play on it. Then in 2023, everything happened in that season, and then you still see the money was the same. So, I mean, if he would have signed that deal, how would it have affected the Giants going into this year? I don't know. But I think they had to move on, man. It was something that had to be done. And then you heard Joe Shane say it on Hard Knock. He was like, he didn't pay Daniel Jones $40 million to turn around and hand it off to a $12 million running back. And that's what it is. If he's really going to say it's Daniel Jones's year, let it be Daniel Jones's year then. That's where we at right now, right?
Yeah, if the offensive line blocks, you're going to see exactly what Daniel Jones is. He has a number one weapon. He has Hyatt. He has Slayton. He has Bellinger with Theo Johnson. If the offensive line is blocking well, I mean, Singletary is no slouch. You got Tracy, you got Wan'Dale Robinson. I mean, it's time for – go ahead.
No, that's what I think a lot of people is they're gonna find that out is, you don't need a big name running back. You just need a big, a running game pretty much. So if you can get if you can get production from Singletary and the rest of these guys, you might miss Barkley a little bit, but once the season gets going and these guys, like you said, if the offensive line is doing what they need to do, and we can get production out of all these running backs, they got some guys that can make plays, man. And we never got a chance to see what these guys were because of Saquon Barkley. So I mean, to me, it's a wait and see. But I'm actually more excited because you don't have the crutch of Saquon Barkley. You have to be more creative in the offense and for the big plays. But yeah.
Yeah, this is going to shine a light on the play calling. It's going to shine a light on Daniel Jones. It's going to shine a light on that offensive line. It's going to shine a light on this whole offense, to be honest with you. And sometimes you get a little bit better by subtraction. You know what I'm saying? You get addition by subtraction sometimes. And I know he was a fan favorite. I know he was a heck of a player. And it's not like he was the ultimate receiving back for us, like a Alvin Kamara or a CMC. He wasn't doing that. Now he did do some things in the passing game, which will be missed. But I think Singletary can do some of the same things. Not as explosive as Barkley has been, but Singletary is no joke, man. Hey, shout out to Miguel. He says Frank Gore wasn't agreeing with Shane on the running back position.
We don't know that for sure.
Yeah,
we don't know that for sure. I mean, the way they edit those, edit those scenes, they do a lot of editing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy. I thought they were going to talk about some of the prospects, but again, they're going to talk. The combine episode is next week, so we're going to get to see a lot of all that prospect talk next week. So we'll see what happens.
Facts. Really flawed. What's going on, lady? Thank you for tuning in. Put the link in the chat if you want to come on and say a couple of things. NO, thank you for tuning in. Darnell, big money. He says, what's going on, fellas? Can't wait for the season to start. Love tuning in to you guys. Let's go, Giants. Appreciate you, bro. Hit that like button for us. Now, we're done with the whole Daniel Jones, Saquon Barkley saga. It's not done. People keep talking
it's
about
never
it,
over. Never over.
You're going to have the people, they chose Daniel Jones over Saquon Barkley. So what? If they did do that, which probably they did.
But that's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to choose the quarterback over running back.
Yeah, the quarterback is everything unless it's Daniel Jones. But another thing that came to fruition is John Mara in a conversation he had with Joe Shane about Saquon Barkley. And Mara said if it was a perfect world, I would want Saquon Barkley back on his team. But guess what? Saquon Barkley is not here. So for the people that's saying that John Mara is not allowing Joe Shane to do anything as far as when it comes to the Daniel Jones contract, he only got that contract because John Mara made him do it. Obviously, that's not the full truth because Joe Shane said, I'm not bringing Barkley back from for no 12 to 13 million. And guess what? He's not here. So
a few narratives died last night.
Yeah, it did. But Coach, if you want to speak on that, what do you think about that? The whole John Mara thing. The John Mara is pulling the strings. He's making Joe Shane do these moves, and it's turned out by watching the episode that's not necessarily true. It's not true at all.
I don't have to watch to see that Mara is not Jerry Jones. I'm going to leave it just like that.
There was a little bit of panic though in the room.
Of course, because as an owner, you in the end, you're the one the money comes from. I get all that, and yes, you're right. But in terms of the interference, yeah, he's the owner, and he in the end, he really does have the last say. So, yes, he's giving Joe Shane carte blanche, but Joe Shane is actually putting his career on the line in a sense. So Mara has that escape. But to say that he's interfering, that the key word is interfering, no, he's not. He's letting him do his job. He pays him to do a job, and he's letting him do his job. And basically, he's going to, in a sense, like most people, he's going to earn his raise, or he's going to walk his way out the door. And that's pretty much it. So Mara's not interfering. Now, is he giving his insight? Yeah. And it would be smart for Shane. Exactly. And it would be smart for Shane to at least talk to him and get the owner's, insight. But in the end, he says, well, I don't think that's a good idea. And the manager says, okay, it's on you. It's on you. And there you go. And
yeah, Lou, what's going on, man? He said, "Fuck Barkley." Good Lord.
Mara is the same. Mara is the same owner that let McAdoo and Reese bench Eli, right?
Don't do that.
Mara is the same owner.
And then fired him.
That let Odell go 1 year after signing that contract. Early in his prime. He allowed that to happen.
After you said he got that deal done, he signed that deal. It was like 2 weeks after the deal got signed, he traded him.
You know what I mean?
Just about-
He allowed that to happen. He also allowed Gettleman to not pick up the phone call when John Elway tried to trade up to number 2 and get Darnold. Right?
That's a fact.
He allowed all that to happen. So Mara meddling, I haven't seen no evidence of it. And Joe Shane showed last night, this is my team. I have full autonomy. I will have to run things by you and Tim McDonald or whatever his name is, but this is my show, and he showed that last night.
Facts. Tudo. He says massive salutes and respect to Big Pat, Big Dash, Big Coach Ed, Big Wells, and all the little people in the chat. Greetings from me, my fam, and my mates here in Jersey. And F. Barkley. What's going on, Tudo, man? Good to see you, man. Wells, he says Merritt definitely makes decisions. Glad he's letting the coach make them for him this season. Yeah. Rando, he says the narratives are the strings are still being pulled because the Giants have the final say on what airs. Okay. Appreciate you, Tudo, putting the links in the chat. Really Flawed said that was a mouthful. Pause. Right. But yeah, I truly believe that this is Joe Shane and Brian Daboll's show, and they made their choice. They put their toes in the ground and say, "Hey, look, we offered this man 3 or 4 contracts, which I do believe that is very true, and the man didn't accept them. And we're in an offseason where we seen our offensive line get Daniel Jones absolutely destroyed. And we want to get more pass rush. So guess what? They allocated those funds to get Brian Burns, to get John Runyon Jr., to get light-skinned Jermaine, to get 4 other offensive linemen. You know, they used their draft pick to get Malik Neighbors, and they're gonna air the ball out this season. I do believe that for a fact. I do believe say out of every 100 plays, you might get 28 to 30 run plays. Maybe 35. I'll push it to 35, 65, 35. I do believe they're going to let Daniel Jones air this ball out to these weapons, and I believe they have a lot of faith in Hyatt. I think they got a lot of faith in Hyatt, and that's why they did give Slayton a new contract. That was another contract that they made a decision. Hey, look, we're probably going to go with the young guy. We're going to let you come in and be that veteran this year, and Slayton's probably going to have to go to other pastures after this season. I see it happening. I see him getting phased out by week 4 to 5. You know, they're going to put Hyatt in those situations, which it can be the right decision if Hyatt develops. And it looks like he put on a little weight. And if he could get that route running down, he's another monster that can turn out to be very, very good for this team because he's so fast. And you have to play him a certain way because that deep route with him is so dangerous. So if he can turn that into good slant routes, to good comeback routes, to good out routes, he can have himself a 60 or 70 catch season for 900 yards easily. So I think Joe Shane has carte blanche on decisions, and I think it's a good thing. And based on this Hard Knocks, looks like they had their eyes on Swift.
Yeah.
To the Bears. It looks like Swift would have been dope for us. I'll say that Swift would have been dope. NYG, just the man I want to hear from. Pause.
Yo, what's good?
What's going on, bro?
NYG now.
What's good, Dash? What's good, Coach? Pat. Who else we got up here?
Matt,
we got
what's good?
Average
What's good?
Beast, Matt.
Oh,
On
Average
Twitter.
Beast. Oh, that's what's up, man. What's good with you, bro?
What's popping? What's good?
Maintaining, man. Yeah, this Hard Knocks thing got people's narratives getting squashed by the minute.
Right. Let me set you up though, real quick.
Oh, you got it.
You know how I know me and NYG are brothers from another mother. As soon as this episode came out and we both put it out around the same time. Like, it's kind of crazy because the Giants are saying the same things that we've been saying for years. Like, for years, the whole Patrick Mahomes thing, even he came out and said, man, if we had Patrick Mahomes, he wouldn't be able to do nothing behind that offensive line when Daniel Jones was playing last year. That's an absolute fact. They had the same sentiment about the whole Barkley situation that me and NYG said exactly what happened. So, obviously, there's over 100 people watching on Twitter. There's a lot of people that don't like what we say. But explain to them why the New York Giants are saying some of the same things the Big Blue Crew has been saying. What's going on, Miz? Explain that, man. Talk your talk, man. Unpopular opinions, whatever you want to do. Talk your talk right now.
Yo, man, it's crazy, Pat, man, because, again, who was the one saying, like, I just went back and watched my video. Like, I literally said word for freaking word exactly the conversations that Joe Schoen and those cats had about Saquon Barkley. The Daniel Jones, Pat, you've been leading the charge. We all been saying the offensive line is the problem. What did they prioritize? The offensive line. Okay, now you have to let this running back go, who everybody admires and adores. But let me remind you, cats, that Wayne Gallman averaged 4.6 yards a carry in 2020 when Saquon Barkley was hurt. You can still get production from a running back if you have the offensive line to make it work. This is all the things we've been saying the whole time. Now, I don't really want to toot my own horn, but you kind of have to, because you get so much smoke from these so-called know-it-alls on Twitter. It's like, bruh, we're in tune with the Giants. Why? Because we watch football. That's why. And Joe Schoen is showing you he watches football too. And kudos to Joe Schoen for pushing back on John Mara and John Mara's narrative of wanting to keep Saquon Barkley. I think that was a pushback. I really think that if that was another GM, they might have caved because they might have felt some type of pressure when your boss walks in and says, okay, what are we going to do without this guy that's everyone thinks is the whole offense? Hold up, wait a minute. We still got other running backs that we can pick up. John Mara. So again, I think this Joe Schoen regime is different. I will give everybody that. But it still makes me kind of question Mara in a sense too, because how you just gonna say that? Like, let that man work. And if he's saying, look, we can get other running backs, and I understand they probably edited it. We don't really know how long the conversation was.
It really was, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But again, I wasn't feeling that part. But everything that Joe Schoen said and did, spot on. Spot on.
I'll say something because I got a little bit of pushback with that. So as far as John Mara goes, you put yourself in the owner's shoes. You want to have some type of say in the situation. One thing he said, like he said he would accept, Saquon Barkley not being here if the offense can prove that they can be decent without him. That's what he said. And again, when he said this is before Saquon Barkley was already out the door. So he still had his reservations when Shane said that. He did push back, and it was a great conversation to see. But John Mara knows what Saquon Barkley is. He doesn't know what the team looks like without Saquon Barkley. So I understand why he said that. Now, as far as Joe Schoen making the comment about not even Patrick Mahomes can survive behind this line. Okay, that is a true statement. But it's not like you wouldn't get better results than what we got if you had Patrick Mahomes, because Patrick Mahomes, flat out, no matter what, is still a better quarterback than Daniel Jones. So I would assume even behind this bad offensive line, it still would look a little bit better. But it is what it is. But when you watch that, because I watched that episode, I think 3 times, man. Joe Shane, the guy McConnell, a lot of those guys, they still have question marks for Daniel Jones. Like it's still there because when he said, it's Daniel Jones's year, and he said, but the other thing he said outside of that was, we're going to find out if Daniel Jones is the guy for the next 10 years or if we got to start from scratch again. So they still don't even know, but they're trying to put everything in place around them, like everybody else is saying, improving the offensive line, having all the weapons. They're trying to get rid of all that other outside noise
for questions, yeah.
Just to see if Daniel Jones is actually who people think he can be.
So
I think that's where the divide is.
Raekwon, what's going on? Blue City, what's going on? But this comes back to what I've been saying for the past since Daniel Jones has really been here.
Uh-huh.
You can't know what Daniel Jones is if you don't have pieces around him. I don't care who you are. You would one of the top GMs in the league, whatever you are. You can't find out what your quarterback really is if you don't have the pieces around him. Yes, the quarterback is the most important position on the football team. That is true. He's the facilitator. But he's also the most dependent. Because if you don't have an offensive line, if you don't have the weapons around him, you're not going to know what your quarterback can really do because you don't have shit to tell you what he can do. It's just a book with blank pages.
But also certain quarterbacks, not saying all quarterbacks, certain quarterbacks can make other people better. Now
okay, this is where I get to you guys. Name the quarterbacks that have balled out in a situation similar to Daniel Jones. Just balled out, just put up numbers.
Without a lot of weapons?
The weapons Daniel Jones had and the offensive line that Daniel Jones had.
It's never going to be that because nobody had a bad offensive line and bad weapons.
Okay, then.
Yeah, but at the same time, we've seen Daniel Jones the Giants' offensive line has been bad for a long time. When he got drafted, he had better numbers. 2022, better numbers, right? So he's produced with a bad offensive line before.
Let me ask you something though, real quick, Dash though, because I'm thinking about what you're saying now. The 2 years that Daniel Jones did have decent seasons, he also had different coaching.
Facts.
2020 people. Right, you had Pat Shurmur, who was a way better offensive coordinator than Jason Garrett, and then you have Brian Dable and Kafka, who we know, are proven that they can run an offense in the NFL. So we have to take that into consideration too. And the other thing that people won't let go. Daniel Jones barely played last year. We don't have the full season. People are writing this off like, oh, this is a bad year for Daniel Jones. And it is, but it's compounded by injury. So we can't sit up here and ignore that like, okay, this man played 17 games and he just sucked all 17 games. Like, he did have a good game this year in the Arizona game. We seen it. So we do got to kind of, and this is where we lose people on Twitter, because I've always tried to kind of be rational with Daniel Jones. Pat knows, a lot of you guys know, but it's so much irrationalism because you can't get a full picture of this man's season last year because he got injured. Or are people holding Joe Burrow saying his season last year was some shit because he got hurt? So it's all over the place because people have such a hatred for this quarterback that they will ignore all other examples of anything just to point out the flaws in Daniel Jones. When Daniel Jones has done good things to make people want to see more, that's fair.
And one thing I don't do. I don't like to compare Daniel Jones to anybody because that's where it becomes an argument. So I don't want to compare him to what
I don't like to do that either. But you know how people are on social media.
It turns into that. For me, I look at Daniel Jones like I'm never the type. It was Herbert crazy before when people want to compare him to Herbert. Pat it's not to say I like to look at Daniel Jones as far and I judge Daniel Jones against what he's done in the past. And when I'm looking at Daniel Jones, I'm saying, okay, if he can just let the ball go, maybe we can see some things and stuff like that. And this just goes back to him being a gunslinger when we first got him, and then whatever the hell Jason Garrett did to him, and whatever the hell Joe Judge did to him, it damaged him. I can admit that. It's not like Daniel Jones absolutely sucks. I'm not going to say anything like that. But when we get into year 6, and this is year 6 now, I need to know. I need to know more. Than I need to have more answers and questions. And right now, to me, I have answers. A lot of people still have questions. I don't expect spectacular out of Daniel Jones. Will I be happy if he was spectacular? Absolutely, but I'm not expecting that because I don't see it in him.
And I'm glad you said that, Dash, because again, people have this expectation that, okay, he has to have a certain number of touchdowns, a certain number of yards, a certain number of this, a certain number of that. I'm looking for more of what we got in 2022 is like, lead the offense, bro. Don't turn the ball over and just be a game manager. There's nothing wrong with being a game manager. Cam Newton said it himself. You say what you want about Cam. He was spot on with that fucking shit. There's nothing wrong with being a game manager, bro, but you need shit around you to manage the game. You can't manage a game of craps. You know what I'm saying? Like, what are we talking about?
I mean, listen, if we won games 10-7, I don't give a damn as long as we win it at the end of the day. That's all I care about. Now, I understand because we paying them a lot of money. We live in the fantasy football era. It's all about the numbers and stuff like that. But for me, I'm old school. As long as I get the W, I don't give a damn how we did it. I hate it. Like that Jets game pissed me off. But like outside, like a W is a W for me. I don't care how it happens.
I'm with you, Dash. I don't care who gets the credit as long as we get the damn win.
Yeah. I can't.
Well, I'll tell you what. DJ's going to throw 42 touchdowns. He's going to run for 8, totaling 50 for the greatest show on turf, Big Blue version. And everybody who hate it going to have to eat a big fat one.
Lou, you forgot one thing. Come on, Lou. You forgot one thing, man. Get on your shit, man.
Yeah, you already know 11-6. That goes without saying, bro. I'm always on my shit.
Listen. I love the Giants so much. I hope what you're saying is absolutely true.
No, look.
Absolutely true.
They built this team for him to throw the ball 40 times a game.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
that's
clear.
That ball go.
With the speedsters he got at receiver, there's no reason that he shouldn't be successful. Because like y'all said earlier, I was listening. I'm still working, but I was listening. Barkley was his security blanket. Now you get rid of the security blanket and you force him to be everything. You got 4 fast receivers out there. Put them out there. And if your offensive line is somewhat decent, if they can be between 16th and 20th in the league of an offensive line, now you cooking with Crisco, baby.
See, now you talking my lingo. All right, because
what is it about Barkley that see, to me, I get it. Barkley's a talented player, athletic wise, but he has holes in his game. So it's like, what is it that we're gonna be missing so bad that we needed Saquon Barkley for? Like, what is it about his game that we can't get for some of the other running backs that we got?
That's not what I'm saying.
Struggling.
That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying
people do that
because he was such an intricate.
No, I'm not debating. I'm not debating you, Lou. But
no, I want to explain it so the people that didn't get it, because we know we got a lot of viewers who ain't very bright. So. No, I'm just being real. I'm not trying to diss nobody. We know that there's a difference between book smarts and common sense. We got a lot of book smart people in the world with zero fucking common sense. So, what I'm saying is, it's not that he was so great. It was that he was the only functioning part of the offense that actually produced at times. So, because we couldn't produce in any other facet, they would force feed him the ball. Similar to like when we had Odell Beckham and McAdoo's scheme. They was forcing the ball to OBJ every opportunity they got, right? So
it's the only star you got.
Right. So with Barkley on the
Yeah.
team and our lackluster wide receivers at the time, remember we went to the playoffs with the worst wide receiver core and the slowest wide receiver core in the league. So you get rid of the security blanket in the running back, and now you go get some weapons for your quarterback to excel and be the face of the team, because that's what you want. That's what you paid him for. 160 million. You don't give that to a camp body. You give that guy to the face of the franchise, right? So you get rid of the running back and you force him to be the leader and the face of this team. You go get him some weapons. You go fix the O-line, and you make sure that it turns out to what you wanted it to be. And that's what they're banking on.
All right, I like to say this.
See
Shout
now,
out to the
now
two-
John Mara's concerned
hold
at
on.
the time.
Hold on, Matt.
Hold on 1 second. Shout out to the 200 people
ahead.
in the chat.
Go ahead.
Hit that like and subscribe button for us, man. All you Twitter watchers, I
That's a
know who
fact.
you are.
And
Twitter
if you don't
watchers, go
subscribe to
the
G
YouTube
Nation
and hit that
Inside
like and
Sports, me
subscribe
and my
button for
ninjas
us.
is coming to stab you.
But the whole Saquon Barkley thing, man, is really about the clout. They want somebody that the whole league admires on this team. That's what they want. And they're going to be losing that, and they're going to be stuck with Daniel Jones, and they hate it. And they pump up Saquon Barkley so high to bash Daniel Jones. To be honest with you, because anything that he does, you're gonna say, well, Saquon Barkley was the whole team. That's what they do. So I'm actually, to be honest with you, I'm kind of glad that he's gone. Not because he's a bad player or anything. I'm glad that he's gone because, like Dash said, we can't use him as a crutch anymore. We can't use Saquon Barkley as a crutch anymore. And we're not going into every season saying that, hey, Saquon Barkley is going to be this amazing guy, and then he gets hurt. Then it's like, oh, damn, all hope is lost. No, we're going into the season, like Lou said, to try to be one of the greatest shows on turf, Big Blue edition. So I'm glad that he's gone. I still root for him. I'm just glad that he's gone.
It's crazy too. That Lou said that about Odell Beckham Jr. because the last time we made the playoffs, that was the thing. That was the thing, wasn't it? It was OBJ, a lot of OBJ, force feeding OBJ that year, and Eli Manning was doing his thing. But again, we still had the same deficiencies. You know what I'm saying? On offense, particularly. So I'm thinking to myself, and I'm like you said, Pat, this is what's best for the Giants as an organization, as a team, because the Giants seem to function the way their quarterbacks' demeanors are. Talking about Eli Manning, because remember they did something similar with Eli Manning when what Tiki did it to himself, but whatever, Tiki and Shockey, they got up out of there and it became Eli's team, and we went to the Super Bowl. Not saying this is a similar situation, but you can see some comparisons because, again, a quarterback with not a rah-rah type of demeanor, they would rather have I would say rather have an offensive situation where they can spread the ball around. And they don't have to focus on one guy, force feed one particular guy. And what the Giants have right now is a bunch of young guys. I get it. A bunch of young guys though that are trying to prove themselves in the NFL. These are all young players. Daniel Jones is the veteran on the offense. Him and Slayton. So now you do have control of the team because now you are the guy, and maybe that's what's best for that dude's psyche. Because I've always said this about Daniel Jones, and I'm gonna land the plane. I always think it's mental with that dude. He gets shattered, his confidence.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? And I think when you give him the keys to the car and you tell him this is your team, it is not Saquon Barkley's team anymore, and you give him some young receivers that's hungry and trying to prove something in this league, it could be a good thing. People just gotta let this shit play out, man, and stop being so, as I'm always told I am, emotional about it. Go ahead, y'all.
I don't think it's so much about Barkley leaving and Jones coming out from under the Barkley shadows. I don't think so. I think they were cool together and everything. I think it's just the O-line has never been an O-line. He's never had a real game-breaking receiver, someone who could get yak after the catch. Those are the things. And last year I throw out the window because, you lost Thomas in the first game. They never recovered. Then there was injury after injury, and then Jones busted up his knee. So I throw last year right out the window.
You can't do that, though.
I am someone who wanted a quarterback, but it was a specific one in the draft. And I said if it wasn't that one, then I'll roll back with Jones. But I don't hate Jones. So I think this year could be very different. It better be very different. Jones is going to have to step up and play football this year. I believe they got a much improved O-line. We got to see it on the field. You got a receiving core right now. And I do believe we have a more of a running back crew
By committee.
rather than one guy, and that's the way the Giants won in the past. I don't think the Giants are going to miss Barkley. I thought it was time to move on. I said that before it happened. Pat remembers, and I was totally good with it. I think fans are not so angry that he left. They're more angry at where he went. If Barkley went to the Texans, people would not be fucking making this big, huge deal.
Not at all. Not at all.
I guess
Not at all.
I still think they
So-
will be making a huge deal.
I got a question just for everybody, because like I said, for me, you guys might be a little bit more high on Daniel Jones, and like I said, for me, is wait and see. Last year I was high on Daniel Jones. I can't just throw away last year. Last year we had a sample size. I can't throw the whole thing away. Yes, the offensive line is not good. It hasn't been good. We already know that. But the offensive line wasn't good in 2022 either. And we went to the playoffs. So for me, I would like to say, and hopefully everybody agrees, you still might have an excuse of an offensive line, because I think they playing around with this whole Evan Neal situation. But I'm assuming that all the excuses have to be gone now, right? He has to put up a shut up, right? In 2024.
This here about excuses.
Oh, it's a lot of excuses.
When you have the bottom ranked offensive line, and it's one of the worst in history. At that point when Daniel Jones was playing, they were on a historic pace. They were damn near on a pace to get over 100 sacks. And you have to put that on the O-line. I can't call that an excuse if it's fucking true. Like, if your O-line is not blocking, what do you want? What do you want them to do? If you don't have a Jamar Chase or a Justin Jefferson or a T. Higgins all on the same team, and they could get open immediately, what are you supposed to do? Now, I will say this. If the offensive line is blocking and Malik Neighbors, everybody is out there healthy, and Daniel Jones still is not playing well, then yeah, it's time to move on. I've never said that Daniel Jones was this great historic quarterback. I'm just saying I want to see him with a decent offensive line. Let the offensive line be ranked 24, not 35 out of 32 teams. You see what I'm saying? Like, that's a bad, like 2022, yeah, the offensive line was bad, but it was ranked 28th. It wasn't but last. And it wasn't, let's be real, man. That first 4 or 5 games, that NFL line wasn't even NFL caliber, that offensive line. Let's just be real. Give him an NFL caliber line.
I think what hurt us last year too, Pat, is we couldn't run or pass the ball. And when you can't run, what helped us in 2022 is we were 5th in rushing. Like, when you can run the ball, it's gonna open up your pass offense just enough to be able to move the ball, because you're so dynamic with the running game. Now, people want to point to us all on Saquon Barkley, yada yada yada. That's cap. Because we all know that the scheme they was running. You know what I'm saying? It was heavy RPO, read option, and they was using Daniel Jones and Saquon Barkley simultaneously, damn near, in the running game. And then Daniel Jones was able to work play action off of that. Now in 2023, they got away from that. And they wanted to pass the ball more. And you understand why, because Shane told you why. They paid this man $40 million and they want to pass the goddamn ball. That's Dable's offense. We all know that. So again, they tried that offense out there and it failed miserably. Now, that could be, you could blame Daniel Jones for that, or you could blame Dable for misevaluating the offensive line and the scheme.
I don't think they
But go ahead.
misevaluated it. They said that much in the episode. They talked about the offensive line, and they made it a big point to address the offensive line, not through the draft like a lot of people wanted to, but they did address it in free agency. So
I mean, but going into last year is what I'm saying, Dash. Going into last year, coming off the 2022 season, they thought they was good with the O-line.
But we was
really
nah, because we like. I can't
knew it was some suspect shit, but they went in there comfortable until it failed, and then they start scrambling for Pugh and Phillips and all these other guys.
But even at the beginning of like training camp, they were shuffling the whole time. Like, people were upset that they was shuffling as long as they was shuffling. Like Ben Bredesen between left guard, right guard, Joshua Zuda doing all that switching and stuff that they were doing. The writing was on the wall, and it was still a question mark with Evan Neal. At the time, we thought that Evan Neal would take another step, and it just didn't happen. And then now, this year, we're pretty much in the same situation where I really don't even know if Evan Neal is going to be healthy enough for training camp or to make it through training camp. And then
if that happens, that sucks.
I know what I think. You know what I think that's going to happen. They know that if this offensive line, like, they're done. They are done pretty much. If this season goes off the rails, I do believe that they might not get fired, but it's going to be some rumblings in that building. You already see there's a similar there's a dynamic already in the building right now. And I know Coach hates this because it's showing how the personnel decisions work and everything. But again, it's revealing some things that at the end of the day, it's Joe Shane's call. And if this thing fails, it's on Shane. We're seeing that now.
But is it Joe Shane's call for Illuminor to be the left guard right now?
That's on Dable.
That's
you're right.
Can I interject real quick?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I think when it comes to the offensive line, all right, what we saw from Hard Knocks, Joe Shane was like, listen, when it comes to Shane Bowen, tell us what you need and we're going to go get it. Who's to say Carmen Brasillo came in there and said, listen, I could fix Neal. Go sign Illuminor. All right, we signed Illuminor. He played right tackle last year. Where do you see him as? He could play guard. Like, I'm thinking he endorsed.
Bro,
people may disagree,
I think
but he endorsed all of this.
Happen, man.
And the reason why I believe he endorsed all of this, like, look at what happened in the draft. We did not draft not one single offensive lineman. You mean to tell me Joe Alt was the only motherfucker that they wanted that offensive line?
But Matt, I took a deep dive, into this whole situation. When it comes to Jermaine Illuminor, right? The man, most recently, he played right tackle. He played right guard, and he even played left tackle. The last time the man took snaps at left guard was over 5 seasons ago. And you didn't pay that man that money to come from Oakland to play left guard. And then what happens if Neal doesn't?
That's why I think it's bullshit, bro. Dash,
yeah, but here's the thing, though. But if that's the case, if Neal does not pan out, either he's hurt, he can't do it, or whatever, and they have to move Illuminor to right tackle, then you got to fill the left guard spot instead of just having that man at right tackle already. Like, at least on the right side, because Runyon can play left guard. So at least you got one side.
We gotta see how they line up in training camp too, though, because again, Evan Neal apparently was not, he wasn't available. So,
but NYG.
The only person that knows Jermaine Illuminor the best in the building is Carmen Brasillo. You think he didn't endorse this?
But it's not just a Jermaine Illuminor. We're talking about John Runyon, John Michael Smith, Andrew Thomas. We're talking about the whole offensive line. Okay. So you can't just think about Jermaine Illuminor and putting him in a certain spot. You got to think about the other 4 guys as well.
Now, you know who I'm thinking about? I'm thinking about Andrew Thomas. That's what I'm thinking about. The best damn tackle, might be the best player on the team, and it's undecided what's going to be on that left side next to him. That's not fair to me. They put Runyon on the right
Yeah,
side
and he's
because they
always rotating. He's always got a
everybody.
rotation over there.
Let him. Like, can we solidify at least one side of the line? Can we do that? We got
That's
enough
fair.
pieces to
That's
do
a
that.
fair point.
Can we be critical thinkers right now
What's going on?
with the whole offensive line situation? They brought over Brasillo, and I guarantee he told them, "Go get me Jermaine Illuminor. He's a free agent, and he could play multiple spots." That's what Dabo and Shane want. They want players that could play multiple spots. Yes, he's played left guard. Yes, he's played right guard and right tackle. He's been on the right side for the past 5 years. That is absolutely true. But Evan Neal was the number 5 pick. No, the number 7 pick overall in the 2022 draft. You really think that Joe Shane and Dabo, because they make those decisions together, really want to get rid of Evan Neal right now?
But that's the only thing that's saving Evan Neal is where he was picked. Because had he been picked,
how many players have you seen just because where they were picked, they still get to play? I'm not saying it's right.
That doesn't make it right. Yeah.
I'm not saying it's right. I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm saying what the fuck it is. He was a number 7 overall pick, and he's in his 3rd year. You gotta let that dude play at the position you drafted him for. Because
Pat,
go ahead.
So do you give him the spot or do you make him earn it?
The spot is his because you have to figure out what the fuck he is. If he turns, hold on, give me 1 second.
I got you.
If he turns out to be what you thought he was on that right side, now you got 2 pillars to your offensive line. That's a risk that I'm willing to take to see what this dude can do. Am I going to let him play the whole season? Trash? No. But I got to give him at least 4 games. He's the number 7 overall pick.
They hired Carmen Brasillo to fix Evan
6
Neal.
games.
Let's be real about that. If it was a talent issue, Bobby Johnson would still be here. Yes or no?
Facts.
It's not a talent thing. It's a coaching thing. I understand that part. Well, you hope it's a coaching thing. That's what we're going to find out when it comes to Evan Neal. But I'm not going to sit here. So are we doing what we think is best for Evan Neal, or are we doing what's best for the New York Giants? Because that's the shit I'm on. What's best for the New York Giants? Now, if you want to,
hold on. I just told you, if Evan Neal turns out to be as advertised, that's a huge win for the New York Giants because now both tackle positions are set. Those 2 pillars that you wanted, you got. Now, can he do it? I'm on the side of no. I don't think he can be that guy. But you gotta give him his shot, bro. You put so much into this guy,
I think
bro.
this is so critical with Daniel Jones and the whole situation. It's like, how can you honestly have a question mark on that side when you know you're saying all this about Daniel Jones and how the offensive line needs to protect him? And if you have this big question mark, and this is totally on Dable, I believe. You know what I'm saying? But if you have this big question mark at right tackle, and you know you got bodies in there that can protect your $40 million quarterback, who you said you need to see what he can do, and it's all on the offensive line. This is not Daniel Jones no more. This is about this goddamn offensive line. This is why I've been so pressed about the Evan Neal situation. Go ahead, Pat.
I get what you're saying about Evan Neal, but you have to take into account the amount of capital they put into him.
Pat,
teams move on from players with the top picks all the time, Pat.
Hold on. You owe yourself to see what this man can turn out to be. It's only been 2 years. I'm with you. If he plays horrible the first 4 games, bitch his ass.
Hey, Pat, So
You can't give him 4 games, bro. You have to figure this out in training camp, bro. I'm sorry, you do.
cannot figure anything about an
Yes,
offensive lineman in
man.
training camp, bro.
If you're good
in
enough of a
preseason,
coach,
hell yeah.
you should know something, bro. You can't tell me you have no data on this dude after seeing him practice every day and playing in 3 preseason games. Like,
I gotta
chill.
Go ahead, Dash.
I got to take it a step further because it's an important subject. So, with that being said, right, wouldn't it make
Are we
more
talking
sense?
about Evan Neal?
Hold on. What would make more sense?
No, I'm asking. Are we talking about Evan Neal?
Oh yeah. What would make more sense to me then is putting Illuminor at right guard. If you're gonna do that, put him at right guard, put Runyon at left guard. That way, if it doesn't work out with Evan Neal, you're only having to move one person.
You can just slide pause all over. I see what you're saying.
You just and every like when you put him on the left side, the whole stance has changed. Coach, you can attest to that. The whole stance changes. Your lead foot is different when you're on between the right side and the left side. If you just keep, like, I would understand it if Runyon was the left guard and Illuminor was the right guard, but it doesn't make any sense to me. Why are you going to put Runyon on the right side? And then, like I said, if he's the insurance policy for Evan Neal, you're pretty much playing musical chairs. If Evan Neal doesn't work out, you're playing musical chairs with the. It's not fair to John Michael Schmitz. It's not fair to Andrew Thomas. It's not fair. Right now we're only doing this just because of Evan Neal, and I don't like this decision being made just because of Evan Neal. Like, we got a whole nother team. It's a whole rest of the team that has to play well. And like I said, if he goes down, you're shifting that. You're gonna have to switch left guard, and right tackle. If Evan Neal doesn't work out. 3 spots, three positions are affected if Evan Neal doesn't work out.
I actually agree with you. We actually agree on something. I feel that, in my opinion, Illuminor should be the right tackle. But everybody else still wants to give Evan Neal a fucking shot. You know, so I'm gonna go with it. Listen, I wanted to give DJ a shot, so I'm not gonna bitch for people wanting to give Evan Neal a shot. But my thing is this: we should have Illuminor. I agree with you at least the right guard. So if Neal fails, all you got to do is slide him over from right guard to right tackle, as opposed to playing musical chairs with the lineman, like you just said. I'm in 100% agreement with you on that one.
It's crazy to me.
Like, these niggas liable to put Josh Azudu over there at fucking right tackle, man. The way they fucking with this offensive line, like, to say how important the offensive line is, and I'm gonna reserve my full analysis until training camp, and I really see the whole alignment with Evan Neal and everything. But to be playing musical chairs with this shit again, when you're already coming out here saying that how important this offensive line is, and we need to protect Daniel Jones and give him a chance, and then you flip-flopping these guys around. You got the guard playing tackle, and then the tackle playing guard, and it to me, it's just goofy. I don't like it, but that's my unpopular opinion. I have a right to reserve that.
It's popular.
Nobody said you can't do that, NYG. But, Coach, I want to hear what you have to say before I say what I gotta say. But you've been sitting patiently quiet. I don't know. Hold on, somebody in the crib, Coach? What's going on?
Coach about to go in, yeah. Because I know, Coach, how you feel about this subject.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, well, you gotta have something, but
I got something to say.
I understand.
Let me say
Go
something
ahead,
about
go
Evan
ahead,
Neal,
man.
please. Let me explain something to my panel here. All right. Evan Neal, us making Evan Neal be the guy he's supposed to be when he's drafted is more important than this whole season. I hope you guys know that. Number 2, if Evan Neal and Daniel Jones don't step up this year, Joe Shane's in deep shit. Bottom line. All right. So they better make Evan Neal work. So they better give him every opportunity to work and not quit on him. And that's exactly why they're not going to quit on him so quickly. I'm telling you, Evan Neal becoming what he was supposed to be, the 7th pick out of Alabama, is bigger than the Giants winning 10 games this year. I got news for you. That's a fact, man. Because long term, that means a winning team for many years to come.
That's what I was getting to. That's what I was getting to,
So,
Miz.
I still think the guys.
The foundation of Miz, you're right on that. The foundation of this offensive line, if Evan Neal pans out, and it is a major if. It is by the way he's played. But if he does, that sets your offensive line up for a long fucking time, bro. Because Andrew Thomas is only 25, 26. He's only 22, 23.
Now,
your offensive tackles are set for the next 10 years at least.
But so my pushback to that is back to NYG's point. In a season that's even an even more important position, the quarterback. The quarterback has to prove that he is the guy this season. You can't sit like I don't give a damn about Evan Neal if I'm comparing Evan Neal to Daniel Jones, to be honest. I think it's more important to find out what Daniel Jones is than what Evan Neal can be. And guess what? Evan Neal is on his third year. Daniel Jones is on his 6th year. We got Illuminor for 2 years. So you telling me I'll take the chance of moving Evan Neal to right guard, and hopefully he can develop and turn into a right tackle. But right now, him on the island by himself is a liability, and I only see him as a liability. And when I know I got a guy with that has played right tackle better than Evan Neal, like he's literally better than Evan Neal right now. Evan Neal might become better than Illuminor, but right now we're trying to figure out who Daniel Jones is. I don't give a damn who Evan Neal is. Give me my.
I'm sorry to cut you off, brother.
You good?
But you're speaking as if you've seen him play games already this year. You haven't seen him play anything. I understand he's on the bike.
We might not see him play games. He's still hurt.
I get that. But you haven't seen him play one snap. You haven't seen him go one snap in training camp.
He's rehabbing. How much better could he have gotten?
Has training camp got here yet? Yes or no?
Is he going to participate in training camp?
You want to give him 4 games. You want to give him 4 games, bro. We don't have 4 games to give this guy. He has to figure it out in training camp.
You better give him 4 games.
How do you know that? How do you know that
we have a guy.
Like, how do you know that? Let me get to the chat real quick. Hey, Snarf, thank you for becoming a member. Appreciate you, bro. I got you on the next live stream. I'll give you 10 minutes. Then you got to stop talking after that, man, because you be tripping. I'm trying to figure out how you can say you got to figure out what Daniel Jones is more than what you figure out what Evan Neal is. I want to see what Evan Neal is before Daniel Jones, because I know if Evan Neal turns out to be good, whoever the next quarterback comes in, he can be protected. That's
but we don't. Right now, the quarterback is Daniel Jones, though.
I get that. If Evan Neal was blocking his ass off and everybody else is blocking their ass off and Daniel Jones still sucks, guess what? Now we can go get a quarterback that has different talent from what Daniel Jones is. And now when they come in, they got a good coach, they got a good staff, they have an offensive line in front of them, and they have a number 1 weapon in Malik Neighbors. They got Wandale Robinson.
I ain't seen him block his ass off in 1 game, Pat. Not 1.
Bro, I've seen offensive linemen look absolutely horrible their first couple of years, and then they turn it around. I've seen players, period, look bad their first couple of years because they're getting adjusted. I think Evan Neal needs to lose a little bit more weight, and I think he needs better coaching. Am I saying Evan Neal is going to be the greatest right tackle in NFL history? No. I'm saying you have to give him his shot in his 3rd year. Let's just say the first 2 games, he's just absolutely awful. Bench him.
Yeah,
but if you see, hold on. If you see him developing in those games, you give him his shot. But if he's still a turnstile and he's still getting beat immediately, okay, bench him. But you owe yourself. You put so much into this damn guy. Let's be honest. You owe yourself to see if he can turn out to
But
be good.
but in all honesty, they didn't put a whole lot into him. He was a seventh overall pick, and they got 2 years to see what he can do. And he got hurt in both seasons. So not only it's just so many. The play is one thing. He can't stay healthy. That's like what happens? And then you said, well, we got to see what's going on. Is he going to? How is he going to survive training camp if he can't make it through OTA?
Was the coaching with Bobby Johnson bad? Yes or no?
Yeah.
It was bad.
Horrible.
Okay,
So-
if he had a horrible, hold on, give me 1 second, man. I'm gonna let you go. I promise.
My bad.
No, you good. So his first 2 years in the league, he had a horrible offensive line coach, right? Who was playing next to him? Bredesen at times, and what's the other guy we got from the coach? Lewinsky. Was he getting much help there? I don't know. And then he's had injuries. That's not on anybody but him.
To be fair though, Pat, I don't think, and this may be unpopular opinion, I don't think Lewinsky was as bad as people saying he was, bro. I think Evan Neal was I think he was some shit, and it was fucking Lewinsky up.
And if that was the case, why did they move off from him and get a whole nother offensive line?
I don't know. I know
Lewinsky
played a lot better last year when that nigga wasn't on the right side, bro.
I think
Evan
the
Neal.
line played better last year when he wasn't playing.
Yeah, and who wasn't there? That's my point.
To be honest, I like Tyree Phillips the way he played better than Evan Neal last year. But call it nepotism, call it favoritism, whatever the fuck you want to call it. That dude's a number 7 overall pick. They're gonna find out what the fuck he is, whether you like it or not. I promise you.
But that's the thing. We might already know what he is.
How?
He might be what he is right now, an injured draft pick. Because that's what he showed me, that he can get injured and miss a lot of games. And then when he's not injured, he's missing a lot of blocks.
If
he's on his belt.
You pulling the plug?
I'm moving him inside, and I'm putting the better right tackle. I want to win games now. I don't want to find out who Evan Neal is. We've been losing long enough. Put him inside. We saw what he looks like on the island. He cannot survive on an island. Put him inside. And if he can't survive there, guess what? He becomes a swing tackle.
Right, exactly. I was gonna say that, Dash. You put him inside, you make him the swing tackle. That dude might be better on the left side. And I don't know why the Giants, you know what I'm saying, keep forcing him over there when he played left tackle in college and left guard in college.
So make it make sense. Why would you put him at swing tackle if you say he can't play tackle, period?
No, I'm saying is if you want to give him all the chances, he can have chances as a swing tackle. You try him inside.
I'm taking the number 7 overall pick of swing tackle. I'm getting rid of him. I'm benching him and I'm trying to trade him or whatever. He's not
okay,
going to be a tackle. I put too much effort into this dude. So
yeah, but until you can get rid of him clearly, make him the swing tackle. He might not get on the field and everybody's happy at that point in time. Because if the rest of the line is solidified, we won't even have to see him. But if you just don't want to give up on him because he was listen, the grace period, 2 years is enough grace period for me for offensive linemen, because have you seen any upside with him? His best game. Have you seen any upside?
He has very good run blocking. He's one of the better run blockers on this team.
But has he put a good game together? A good game.
Put a couple of good games together.
Games?
But Dash, I don't agree with that. I'll tell you why. Okay, the guys coming off the O-line out of college today, right? They're not being taught or being prepared for pro football anymore. So they're coming into the NFL, and you got to kind of remold them from what you got on your NFL team, your coach. They're not coming in college ready for the pros like in the 80s and 90s. It's just a different sport now, college and the NFL. It's changed. And a lot of these linemen, I find, have this problem. There's a lot of bad O-line in the NFL. You know that, right? A lot.
But it's some terrible O-line play.
But we're talking the most important unit is the offensive line when it comes to football. The most important unit,
you know what I'm saying?
in sports is
specifically Neal.
Go ahead.
Now, what I'm saying is, I understand. All right. the guy's got a point with Neil, but the thing is this. You're ready to get rid of the guy after 2 years, and last year he was injured, and it was just a whole messed up O-line. Let's be honest.
See that's the thing. I'm not saying you get rid of him. I'm not saying you kick him off the team. He might not be a good start. How many times have we seen first rounders just not make it, no matter what the position is?
You see it
Wide
all
receiver?
the time.
You see it all the time. So what? If I got 2 years of examples of Evan Neal, and even in his best game, like people say last year, the Raiders game, the game he got hurt was his best game. Well, shit, his grade was still in the 50s, and that was his best game. So what are we talking? Like, how much grace you want to give the guy? Like they say, oh, he did good against Max Crosby.
No.
He did good. He had a couple of good snaps against Max Crosby when Max Crosby played against him on that side. But that wasn't the whole game. They didn't tell the whole story. I've seen more bad than good from Evan Neal. I think we can all say that too.
I think the whole issue with this offensive line talk is it's hard to grade individuals, man. The offensive linemen are graded together. Like it's and we have no continuity. That's the thing. 2022, we wasn't ranked high, but everybody for the most part was healthy. Last year, everybody was hurt. The Miami game, we started fucking 5 guards. That's how bad it was.
In 2022, we had a lot of people go down still in 2022. It was still like Feliciano. Yes. How do you think we learned about Zudu and Bredesen and all those other guys? Because the guys that were pinned in to be starters, Zudu was supposed to be the starter in 2022.
And then Neil get hurt in that year too.
Neil got hurt then too.
Right.
That's how we heard.
That's
That's
when
how we heard about
Tyree
Tyree Phillips.
Yeah, bro.
That's what I'm saying. It's not just one strike against him. It's 2 strikes. It's his gameplay and also his health. So if he wasn't rehabbing this year, he had to get his what was his ankle? He had to get his ankle cleaned up. He had a broken bone. He got the surgery late. We don't even know what he is. And now he's rehabbing. So how is he getting better if he's concentrating on rehabbing?
Can I join the conversation now?
Please, sir.
Go ahead, Coach. I tried to get you
All right.
earlier, but something was going on. Go ahead, Coach.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that. I'm good though. But I've listened to what you guys have said, and some valid points, some I question. All right. What's the fastest way to the quarterback? What's the fastest way to the quarterback? Dash, you know the answer to this. I know Pat knows the answer to this. What's the fastest way to the quarterback?
Interior.
Up the middle. Up
Interior.
the middle, bro. We know. Yeah.
So you're saying move him to guard, and you're saying, oh well, these issues, he's all this, he can't handle speed, da 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 da, but move him inside.
Exactly.
Now we have a quarterback who, we don't even know what we have per se, but now the best way, and the GOAT, when the Giants played him in the Super Bowl, how did we attack him? Right in his damn
Inside.
face.
Yeah.
So you're going to sit here and tell me, but Pat, NYG, what have I been saying about Neil? The first thing is he needs to lose some weight. They list him at whatever, 330. That man is 360, probably 370. He needs to be around 325 to handle the speed off the edge because he's going up against edge, outside linebacker, defensive ends, however you want to categorize them, that are around 250 to 275 pounds. They're going to beat him with quick speed. Here's another thing for all you Twitter followers. Go on there and watch Warren Sapp, who's doing this master's clinic with what's his name from the what's his name?
Von Miller.
His damn name.
Von Miller,
There you go.
exactly.
Oh,
Watch what Warren Sapp said when you're working the combinations with the speed, and he is key with what he said, with what he does. And you're telling me you're saying that he can't handle speed off the edge, but now you're going to try and put him with quickness on the inside?
I'm saying absolutely.
I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying. What I'm saying is now let's go into the questions with the quarterback. Now you're going to put. Here's another thing too. Now that I'm thinking about it too, We talked about Daniel Jones and his psyche and so on and so forth. The best way to protect a quarterback is shore up his left side. That's the guard and the tackle. If Illuminor is that good, that right there, and I'm telling you, right off that 3 tech right there, that's quick. Quarterback is going to turn his back. He's not going to see that one. He may feel the tackle. You might get a little feel, but that quickness right there, you're anticipating that it's secured. Now you might say, well, move Runyon over there. He's a better pass protector. Okay, I get that. But the thinking is Illuminor is probably in their thinking their third best, maybe even their second best offensive lineman. So you secure the quarterback's backside more than anything.
But
Because
coach,
you let him get hit there, then that's going to crumble everything. Go
yeah,
ahead, Dash.
no, and I see your point, and I would agree with that point if, like you said, if Evan Neal works out at right tackle,
And
then
I was getting to that.
Illuminor is fine at left guard. My only issue with it is it could be just my faith in Evan Neal is not there.
No,
But
that's
if
fair.
like my whole deal is if Evan Neal does not pan out, who is your next best right tackle?
And
He's
that,
playing left guard right now. And then and it's not fair to Andrew Thomas because Andrew Thomas, more than anybody on his offensive line, deserves to have some continuity with somebody next to him.
Let me ask you this real quick, Dash. Does it even matter who the fuck is next to Andrew Thomas?
It does.
Like he's gonna
It
play.
does matter.
He's gonna play at an all-pro level, regardless of who is.
It's not,
I get it. I get what everybody is saying.
Left
and I
side
get it.
is the most important side, right?
But here's the thing, okay? With what I said about Neal, and I've just said it again, he needs to lose the weight. Now, if he loses the weight and he can handle the speed off the edge, that the question is null and void. The question is null and void because that's the biggest thing. He can't handle the speed. That's the first thing everyone always talks about. Number 2, you said it, coaching. If we're teaching him a different technique, a different way of reading and attacking the defensive line, that helps. If we brought Brasilio in for that, how are we just saying, well, you know what, we just only need to see it in training camp, otherwise get rid of him, move him inside? I get what you're saying. I get what y'all are saying. I do understand. I understand the frustration as far as Giants fans. But for me, I'm like, first and foremost, I need to see what this offensive line coach, what he can do. Because y'all are saying, y'all are focused on Evan Neal, but I'm not hearing anybody saying, let's see what Brasilio can do to really coach up Evan Neal. I'm a coach. I'm telling you point blank. I'm not sitting here trying to, I'm trying to see what I really got. And the training camp is not it, number 1. Number 2, the rules of preseason and training camp are different. You don't have multiple hitting days. No. You can only hit X, Y, Z. I believe it's 20 days? 20 days that you can hit? That's the only way you can see what you have in an offensive lineman. Is to put on the damn pads and let them go mano a mano against the defensive line, period. Number 3, you only have 3 preseason games now. And the whole damn league is trying to figure out what's the best way. Because in the past, it was you had 4. So by week 3 in the preseason, you worked up your starters, your key players for week 3, and you got them into maybe past halftime, the middle of the third quarter, and then everybody else, you're trying to see what the rest of the roster is. Now it's 3 games. Where do you figure all this out? So the league as a whole is still trying to figure this shit out. So I get what everyone is saying, but to me, it's like, yo, it's way too many moving parts. Giants fans, I get it. I get the frustration. I get the impatient aspect, and I'm probably the one fool who's probably the most patient out of everybody. But that's also me being a coach too, because you know what? I need to really see. I can't just jump off after a couple of little training camp and moves. I can't. That's me.
You can't get the
you guys act like it's just a training camp, man. We have his college tape, we have his pro tape, and now again he's coming off an injury, and Giants fans always talk about injuries. But again, You want to throw a guy out there who hasn't performed, who has been injured, just because you just want to see. You want to see in a critical year of Daniel Jones, your franchise quarterback, and Brian Dable, your goddamn head coach. You want to just see if it, and we know how important
Yes,
the
I want
offensive
to
line
see.
is.
I want to see. That's you. That's you, bro.
I can't
That's
do
you.
it,
I
bro.
get it. I respect
And they
it.
can't
That's your
afford to do
opinion.
that. Guess
That's
what?
your
The Giants
opinion.
can't afford
I
to do
wanna
that
see.
because if
I
they
wanna
do
see.
that, Daniel Jones' ass is out of here, and Brian Day was probably fucking fired. I'm just gonna be honest with you. They can't afford to wait around and play with this offensive line
So then,
anymore. They can't.
to Pat's point, NYG, then you might as well just trade him right now.
Yeah,
Scrap all the
trade
bullshit.
him.
You might as well just
Fuck the
trade him.
trade him. I don't care. Get his ass
What-
out of there.
Hold on, but what's his trade value? He's
It
Exactly.
doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It
Nothing.
doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Based on what NYG is saying.
No, because you guys don't want to move him. You want to keep him at right tackle. You want to force him to play right tackle, and you don't want to. You can't put him in guard. You just said that, coach. You said you didn't.
You said you guys. You know me, NYG.
Okay.
I'm gonna play on your word.
Okay.
You want to attack Coach Ed? Attack Coach Ed.
Okay.
Coach Ed said this.
Yeah,
put me
you
with
said
everyone
that.
else.
You
Okay.
said
All right, there we
that
go.
you didn't want him to go into guard.
Okay, guys, calm down.
We're fine, bro. We do this all the time.
All the time.
Like, yeah, you said you didn't want him to go into guard.
Eating up a
So I'm trying to figure out. Well, if you don't want to move him, and if he's useless at any other
and you
position,
guys are disturbing my rhythm.
The other thing is this: he's not even willing to accept moving inside. He said it himself. The man
right?
said he said I'm born. I was born to be a tackle. Okay, if you was born to be a tackle at Alabama. I'm an Alabama fan, but I will tell you guys, Alabama has 5 guards on the offensive line. The center's a guard, the tackles are guards, everybody's guards, and they just play bully ball. That's Alabama. And you see a lot of tackles that come from Alabama. What happens? They all get kicked inside. And some of them survive and some of them don't. He's falling into that same line. Now, what you were saying, Coach, about his speed, and yes, he might be able to lose. He might be able to lose some weight. Hopefully, if he can do that. I think his recovery is bad, and he gets to leaning. So when you put him out on the edge, he's more of a liability, because when they set him up on the outside and go inside, what is he doing? He's susceptible to the bull rush. They get inside his chest. It's his hand placement. It's his kickback, and it's a lot of things going wrong. If you hide him, like I said, do I want to put him at right guard? No, I would rather see him on the bench and give him time to develop. But since we're trying to force him out there, give him every chance because he was the 7th overall pick. That's what we're doing right now. He didn't earn the spot, but we ended up giving it to him. And that's one thing we always say. We hate when they just give people spots. And that's what they're doing to Evan Neal right now. He hasn't earned a damn thing.
But you know what?
I see something different. I see something different in Evan Neal. That's me. And maybe everybody's like, whoever said to me that I don't know football is right. Maybe I don't know fucking football. Because I see some talent in Evan Neal. I do. And I can tell you right now, if I had the opportunity to coach Evan Neal, there's a lot of things that I would work on with him personally. But that's me. And that's my arrogance and that's my ego.
Do you think his weaknesses would be less? Like for me, I think his weaknesses would be less on display in the inside, because again, you have 2 guys playing. You're not on the island by yourself. Because one thing I noticed with Evan Neal is even if he gets this initial kick step back and he's in a good spot, then he's susceptible to the inside.
You, in the offensive line, you're always, every position is on the island, because the defense is going to sit there and identify, and all they're going to do is overload. Sometimes they're going to throw you some type of a bear front. He's still going to be 1-on-1 on the island. It's just that as a guard, it's quicker than as a tackle. That's what you're also now realizing.
If you think Evan Neal not pick up a stunt at tackle, imagine what he's going to do at guard at picking up a stunt. Scot-free. And now it's even worse, because now you're at a straight line to the quarterback. At least when he was trash on the right tackle of the guard block, Daniel Jones can step up. But if he's trash on the inside, it's over with.
The
It's
speed
crispy.
is that much faster at guard
Right.
than it is at
It
tackle.
sure is.
Now, I'm going to say right now in my head, because everyone kept saying it, and it took me a while to watch Bobby Johnson, and they kept saying it. Everyone kept saying he's not being coached right by Bobby Johnson. He's being coached in an aggressive set as opposed to being able to kick back a little bit more. And an aggressive set, that's where you are being aggressive and you're leaning forward and you're falling on your face a lot more as opposed to naturally kicking back as a tackle. So I get where you're going, Dash, but when you move it inside, I'm telling you, when I played in college, one thing my defensive line told me: explode, get your head to off the guard's hip. If you can get your head to the hip or hip the
It's
hip,
over.
the guard is done. He can't do anything. Warren Sapp speaks to that. So I get what you're saying, but you said he's not. You can hide him. You can't hide him inside. You can't. You can't.
So you
There's
don't.
so many.
So
There's so many things you can do to put him on full blast.
if that's the case, then
So
he shouldn't
if
even
he's
be on.
not
He
a
shouldn't
right
even be on the
tackle,
roster.
he's worthless. He's worthless. That's what
He
y'all
shouldn't be
guys
on
are
the
telling
roster
me.
then.
I
If
said,
he's not a right
what did
tackle, he's
Pat and I
fucking
say?
worthless.
Based
Get him
on
out of
what
here.
you guys
Get him the
saying,
fuck out of here.
trade, and if that's the case, then you trade him. Me,
You can't
I
trade him. You
see
got to let his.
something.
You got to let his contract expire. He done got most of his money already too.
No,
Because you know how
I'm
they.
not even going there. See, I see some talent there. I do some talent. Does it
I
need to
see
be
a little
worked on?
bit of talent with him as well. He
Okay.
can run block his ass off.
Look,
start.
there's
He's our
also
best
the
run
fact that he
blocker.
has. People talk about his footwork, but y'all forget he scoops in, he gets out on screens, and he's downfield quickly. This is why I don't understand. Like I'm sitting it. Go back and you watch it from the beginning.
It's like a mental block, just like with Daniel Jones. It's like a mental block with him. It's crazy.
It's just I don't know. I see something in Neal. His length, his strength, his athleticism. He has athleticism for a big guy, a man that big. He just can't handle speed. That's the one thing I
I've
will
seen.
do.
Yeah, but that's a problem because that's defensive lines now are all pretty much all these guys are fast.
Yes.
You
And
got
that's
damn.
why he's looking so bad.
What did I say? You need to lose weight. You're talking about a big guy who goes around talking about being the sexiest fat man. I'm even now, for my health reason, no, seriously, for my health reason, after just being in the hospital a couple weeks ago, I'm seeing how important it is for me to lose weight. 380 pounds, 370 pounds is not good. My focus is to get under 300 pounds. And I'm telling you, and I've always been over 300 pounds for damn near 25 years, almost 30 years. But now I see the importance, and I've already lost 20 pounds, and I feel so much lighter. And I'm saying that and I'm not in the pros. Now, can you imagine this guy lose? And that's the thing. They've conditioned us to think he's 330 pounds. And I'm telling you from experience and looking at that man ain't no way in hell. He's 370, 380.
He was 400 pounds when he got to Alabama.
Exactly. So he
needs whatever they list the weight is, just add 25 to that shit.
And that's why I'm saying he needs to be about 315, 320. Look at Thomas. Thomas is about what, 315 if I'm not mistaken, Pat?
Okay.
I think Thomas is 320.
Okay, 320.
He might be 320.
And
he's
more
a little light
now than when he was as a rookie.
Yeah, you know that Andrew Thomas lost weight after his rookie year too, right?
Yeah, he got rid of that baby fat. He leaned up.
Yeah.
Well, you look at him in street clothes. Like
Coach, man, look, bro, I love you, bro, man, and kudos to you, man. Kudos to you, man, because that's a very important statement that you said. But have we seen any indication that Evan Neal has lost any weight? Just saying.
That's
just
fair. That's fair. I don't know. I haven't. I'm just talking as a coach where I see talent. I've watched him for the past couple of years. I see something there. I watched him in Alabama. He played, if I'm not mistaken, he played you're a Bama fan. He played, other than center, he played all four offensive line positions.
He played all four.
So
he has left tackle, right tackle, guard, in both guard positions.
So
let me say this to NYG's point. If Evan Neal shows up to camp and he's still 365, 370,
that's a different story.
That's a different story. That shows me you're not committed.
Yeah.
No, but no, you can't say that. The man he had surgery. How is he going to lose weight? He ain't been working out. He had to stay off his foot.
Come on now, let's not act like he's sedentary. He's moving around. He's working.
You can diet dash. I get you. I get what you're saying. There are still certain things you can do.
You
Now I'm not
should
sitting here
lose
saying
weight because you're not
there's
active.
Dash. Listen to me, Dash. I was just in the hospital and I lost 18 pounds in almost a week and a half.
Yeah,
And
but
I
you
was laying
said,
in a bed. I was laying in a hospital bed.
but also the food is restricted. We talking about a guy that makes millions of dollars. You telling me he got
That's
who?
where I said that's where the commitment comes to. If you're coming into training camp overweight and we told you your weight is the issue to why you can't keep up with these speed rushers, and you were 360 last year, you come into camp still at 365. Let's say he gained 7 pounds. Okay, now I know what it is. You're just not committed.
But again, he's
And
surgery. He had surgery
You
though.
still can
bro,
lose weight
people
after
lose weight
surgery.
when they get surgery,
You
bro.
still can lose weight, bro.
No, like okay, I understand the weight thing. Yes, you can still lose weight if you're injured, this, that, and the third. Outside of him, just like if he was a good player, that's one thing. If he was already good before the injury, that's fine. He had to focus on rehabbing this year. And we saw what Wandale Robinson said. He said last year he had to focus on coming back from the freaking knee. And then
Hey,
he
I'm
talked
about to
about how
head
good
home,
he.
guys. I'm about to hop off of here. I gotta plug the phone up.
All right, Big Lou.
All right, Lou, be
All right,
careful,
y'all.
bro.
All right,
It-
bro.
Fam.
It's a
One.
different kind of off season when you're able to work on your craft. And for me, I don't think he's been able to work on his craft because he's been rehabbing. Same thing with Daniel Jones. He hasn't got a chance to really improve and get comfortable with his receivers because he's limited. He got the knee. And if they don't kick shit up in training camp, like we hope the plan is for Daniel Jones to start getting in 11 on 11s. But if he ain't ready to go by training camp, imagine what the beginning of the season is going to look like.
Daniel Jones is ready to play right now. So I'm not worried about Daniel Jones. That dude, he's recovered. He'll be in training camp.
I'm not ready to get. Maybe it's just me, and I'm just too stubborn. I just am not ready to give up on Neil. I would love it. I wish I was his coach. I would love it.
I'm just not ready to throw him away like trash. That's what I'm. People like you're like that.
Hey, what do you do with trash? You throw it away. And all I've seen is trash so far. So if he ends up being better, fantastic. But right now, the man's trash.
You know how many people, if we had that attitude about players, how many Hall of Famers won't be in the Hall of Fame? You know how many years it takes people to get into their groove and then really get into how they're playing on good organized teams.
It took Andrew Thomas 3 years.
Right. Andrew Thomas wasn't Andrew Thomas at the very beginning. He improved his second year a little bit, but he was still kind of like a liability a little bit. But his third year, that's what I want to do. Whoever the fuck Andrew Thomas trains with in all season, Evan Neal needs to be right there with him.
Exactly. And I hope that's the case. It's probably not.
I don't know who's training with Evan Neal. I don't know what the
Willie Anderson, the former All-Pro. I think he's
he taught him a stance. He didn't train with him that whole offseason. He taught him a stance.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know. He might still be working with him. Who knows?
Well, there's two things. Number one, you can't get rid of this guy this early. He goes somewhere else and becomes one of the top linemen in the league. Let me tell you something. Shane never have a job in this league again. Okay, number two, that's a risk that they're not going to take. Number two, you also talking about a franchise that tends to stick longer with guys they draft than most franchises in the league. They're committed and they usually develop. I know the last 2 years hasn't looked that way, but I believe these guys with Mara, they kind of got an understanding. So again, I don't think you're getting rid of this guy so quickly. Bottom line.
Yeah,
I disagree, and the reason I disagree with this is because you can't hold draft status as a to hold your team back. And what I'm saying is, you have Daniel Jones and you got Evan Neal, but you're basically kind of holding Daniel Jones' fate in Evan Neal's hands with this offensive line, because you guys are wanting to give him these 4 games and just ride this season out with this guy just to see if you have. But at the end of the season, if Daniel Jones is hurt or not performing, Daniel Jones is gone, Brian Daboll's out of a job, and fucking Evan Neal was benched. So you're 3 out of luck.
What makes you think,
based on one player?
Hold on, one quick, because this is the last subject we're gonna get into before we get out of here. Evan Neal's gonna be here. Sorry, I know you guys hate it. But he's gonna, like Daniel Jones, he's gonna be here. Sorry, he just is. There's nothing you can do about it.
I don't care if he's on the team.
So
I just don't want him starting.
What makes you guys think that Brian Daboll will be fired next season? I think the only way he will be fired is if they go like 1-16, 2-15.
Nah, bro. If they have a season like last year, I think he's done.
Really?
Bro, but that was due to a lot. That was due to injuries all over the damn place.
I think what's gonna happen is if this Jones and Evan Neal and all this shit doesn't work out, Daboll's gonna be the fall guy. I think Joe Schoen is going to have to make that tough decision at some point. Because you can't keep running it back with this rampant ass fan base, an owner who's telling you, "Hey, Saquon Barkley's our offense," and then you get rid of him, and then you experiment with Evan Neal, and shit goes to shit. So who you think's going to take the brunt of that, bro? Somebody going to take the heat, bro. Somebody's got to take the heat.
John Mara never said Saquon Barkley was the whole offense. He said, "I would like to have him back."
I get it, but he supported bringing him back. So Joe Schoen let him go.
There's a difference.
Wells.
Can I add something to that real quick?
Can I just
Go
say
ahead.
one thing real quick, lad? Can I just say one thing real quick, yeah? Can we just root for our fucking team? Can we root
That's
for
what we're doing.
Right.
That's right, Wells.
There's all different kinds of fucking outcomes that could come with American football. Yeah? American football is the most unpredictable sport in the world. Yeah? Take all the other fucking sports in the world. This is the most unpredictable sport in the world, and it's the most sport that needs death. Yeah, it's the most sport that has injuries. Can we just have some death? Can we root for our fucking team? Yeah, can we just root for our team? Please.
He's right, bro.
Yeah,
Hey,
I don't think anybody on this panel roots against.
That's what happens in September. That's when, like, this is the off season. This is where we get all the damn debates and stuff going. This is off season, because once September gets here, is either you in the car, or you not in the car. Right now, we fighting on, who's sitting where in the car. But come September,
I've been in the car for the past fucking 15 years. If you're not in the car now, why are you even cheering for this team? Like, for real, mate? Like, what's going on here?
Well, no, you got fans. Plenty of fans on Twitter that don't know if they should get in the car or out because they want to root for the Giants to lose so that they can get rid of Jones. So,
I mean, listen.
Right, mate. They're confused.
But
It's a confused generation here, lads. Like, what's going on? Can we just cheer for our fucking team? Enjoy the Hard Knocks, for goodness gracious me.
Oh, I enjoyed it.
All right,
I
Matt,
thought it was
go ahead and
fantastic.
go ahead and say what you had to say, Matt, and I'm gonna say something. Go ahead.
No, I think when it comes with what John Mara was saying in the office with Joe Schoen with Barkley, if you get rid of Barkley, it's not just the running back. It's like, all right, we don't have a superstar. When we got rid of Odell, we had Barkley. We had a bullet in the chamber. This is before the draft, so it's like, all right, if we get rid of Barkley, who else do we have? Who can we sign? Who can we trade for that could be that superstar? Because for the longest time, the quarterback always had something. From 2005 all the way, like the quarterback always had something to rely on. And if we got rid of Barkley, huh?
We were with Odell and with Barkley, we were predictable. They knew exactly what we were going to do. Now we don't have that. Now they don't have that. They don't know what we're going to do now.
I got to push back. I got to push back a little bit. When we had both Barkley and Saquon, it didn't matter because they couldn't stop it.
Barkley
That's
and
the
Saquon.
difference.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Barkley
yeah,
was
very
nasty.
true. Very
That
true.
was a nasty combo.
Because then
Hold
now
on. How many games did we win when we had Barkley and Odell on the same team?
Not many.
Not many.
why though? Why? Because the freaking defense was trash. Trash.
So we
all
were
those
putting up
years.
30 points, 28 to 30 points a game when Barkley and Odell was here.
Hell yeah. We was in the high 20s. We was putting up points, except for that 2017 season, when the defense was good and we was winning games 10-7, and we won 11-5.
Oh, you mean 2016? Yeah.
16 playoff. Yeah.
So 2017, that's when Barkley and Odell played together, right?
No, 18.
18.
And we didn't win shit with them, did we? We didn't
Yeah,
win shit with them.
18 was the Barkley year. 19 was the Jones Barkley year.
The offense
20
was spectacular.
and 2020.
What are we talking about? The
Barkley
offense was
got hurt.
spectacular.
Yeah,
that
spectacular
rookie
for fantasy
season?
players.
No, that rookie. The Giants put up points in 2018. We couldn't stop anybody on defense.
Okay.
Just think about the Baltimore game, the freaking Rams game, all those games.
Hold on, Dash. So that season, the first game we lost 35-17 to the Cowboys. Second
Like we
game
normally
lost-
do.
Second game we lost 28-14 to the Bills. The Bucks. Wait a minute. No. It was the 2017 season they played together. 2018.
No. Barkley got drafted in 2018.
No.
Barkley got drafted in 2018.
Come on, Pat.
That
You
was
got to
the
know
first
this.
Yeah, he's
Come on,
right.
No,
He's right.
Come on,
He's
Pat.
right. He got drafted in 2018. Yeah, he got drafted 2018. Daniel Jones got drafted the year after 2019.
But Daniel Jones played that Buccaneers game. I remember that. We won 13.
Yeah,
That was 2019 though. And we didn't
That
have
was
we didn't have
2019.
Odell. Odell was gone because Odell
Odell
and
was
Daniel
gone.
Jones never played together.
Yeah, we didn't sign to trade him.
Okay, here we go. I was on the wrong season. Okay, here we go. Now, the first game we lost 20-15 to the Jaguars. The second game we lost 20-13 to the Cowboys. The third game we beat the Texans 27-23. The Saints we lost 33-18. The Panthers we lost 33-31. The Eagles we lost 34-13. The Falcons we lost 23-20. The Commanders, we lost 20-13. We beat the 49ers 27-23. We beat the Buccaneers 38-35. The Eagles, we lost 25-22. The Bears, we beat them 30-27. The Commanders, we beat them down 40-16. The Titans, we lost 17-0. The Colts, we lost 28-27. Cowboys, we lost 36-35. We should have won that game. We should have put up down at 50 that game. We put up 30 points 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times that season. The offense was playing pretty decent that year, but we still didn't win shit, bro.
Because the defense was trash.
Bro, I've seen plenty of games that season where the offense failed the defense sometimes.
And
the defense was terrible because I believe that's when we had that dude from the Cardinals, Belcher, or whatever his name was, as a defensive
James Betcher. Yep, James Betcher.
But it's not like we were unstoppable. You see what I'm saying? Like, what did we have when we had Odell Beckham and Saquon Barkley in there?
Bro.
What Eli Manning?
The targets.
Bro, hold on. Because Barkley's rookie season, he put up over 2,000 yards. He had over 90 catches, 90 receptions.
Yeah, because they didn't know what he was. They didn't know what he was. They game plan for it.
That doesn't even matter because he did it on the ground and he did it in the air. Odell Beckham in 2018. I don't know what his stats was, but I'm pretty sure he got over 1,000 yards too. So you're talking about your two best players, and you got Eli Manning. That was in Giant standards. That's a very explosive team. And then you said we only went over 30 points 5 times. Well, we went 2 whole
Dell
seasons.
get hurt in the Barkley year, Dash?
Did who?
Odell, did he get hurt in that year?
He did get hurt.
Yeah, he only
He
played
did
12
get hurt.
so.
games.
Be-
He only played 12
Because
Yeah,
games.
I thought
because
so.
we
Yeah,
gave,
okay.
we
Yeah,
gave
you
him the
guys are still
contract.
crying about Odell Beckham. This guy used to propose to Nets, do all this nonsense bullshit, make us look like a joke of an
Leave
organization.
my
No,
family alone.
no,
Leave my
Throw
family
Eli
alone.
Manning under the
Leave my
no,
bus.
family
Think
alone,
about Eli.
Liz.
You
no.
talk about
Leave my
the
You
family
were
alone, Liz.
you worried about the wrong things.
Leave my
You worried
family
about the
alone,
wrong
Liz.
thing.
I'm not
He
worried
he
about the
can he
wrong
can
things. He's been
he
gone for
can.
4 years. I don't care.
That's not the point of the conversation. We were trying to compare how explosive the 2018 offense was, and I was trying to give numbers. And like I said, the last time we had multiple games over 30 points might have been 2018 because we went what 2 seasons under Judge. We didn't even score 30 points, not once. The whole time Judge was here.
Odell Beckham stats in
Yeah, but
2018.
Dash, yo, we
He had,
stunk, Dash. We stunk.
he had
No,
77 catches on 124 targets for
Points don't matter,
1,050
wins
yards and
matter.
6 touchdowns.
I know, I understand, and I will take the 2022 season over any of those Odell years because we went to the playoffs. I understand that, but that wasn't the argument. The argument was the last time the New York Giants had an explosive offense, and I'm saying that was 2018.
Fair play. Yep.
That's it. Odell was taking slants to the house.
He had 124 targets, but that's what we got elite neighbors for. Be
Yeah.
honest with you, that's what we got Malik neighbors for. Somebody that can take the ball to the house from anywhere on the field. And believe
Now
it or
is that
not,
pressure on him though? Is that pressure going to be too much for him? He's a rookie.
I gotta go, fellas.
He got
All
that
right,
dog
man.
in him. He's gonna be all
All
right.
right, Dash. God bless, mate.
I have a
yeah,
good one.
I'm gonna shut it
All right,
down.
Dash, man. Appreciate
Good
chopping it up with
Dash.
you.
But I mean, great conversation tonight, guys. Obviously, we're all grown men. We don't agree on everything, but as you can see, it's still all love between the Big Blue Crew. That's how grown men talk. That's how grown men hash out things. We can agree to disagree without name calling and doing all the dumb shit. Unlike people on Twitter, and it's over 100 and 200 people watching on Twitter, so I already know who all you guys are, and I know you ain't commenting because, like I said, I offer you guys to come on here and say something all the time. You never come, but as soon as you get on Twitter, you type.
Shout out to Average Beast though, bro. I'm glad you pulled up, man. Like that's what's up, man. Like I appreciate that. I really do. Even though this ain't my channel.
I'm gonna show up to yours, man. Like I've been sitting quiet in the weeds, man. I can't get, I can't talk to people that feel like they right all the time. You know what I mean? Like I like to learn. I like to learn something. You know what I mean? So, I'm just happy to be here.
And that's what we trying to do, Average, man. We trying to give the people a voice. We're trying to be rational, and trying to have different perspectives. As you can see, we don't always agree. We're not all Daniel Jones lovers, as Twitter would say it. So, we do have different opinions, man. So, but it's always cool conversations. Always love here. Anytime you want to chair, come pull up.
Facts.
I appreciate that.
Y'all go subscribe to Coach Ed Gladney. What is an Amazing World of Sports? I forget. I always get it wrong.
Coach Ed Gladney's Amazing World of Sports.
Yeah. I say Wonderful World of Sports all the time.
It's cool.
Subscribe to Popular Opinion Sports NYG 22. Good brother. Go subscribe to Wells to New Jersey. Go subscribe to the Miz. When the Miz speaks, we listen. I can't wait for Miz to do his videos during the season. It'd be some funny shit. Shout out to Average
let's
Beast.
go.
Right. Shout out to Average Beast for coming on the panel and chopping it up with us. I will say this. Appreciate it, Miss Really Flawed. Shout out to Jada God, Tommy for Tommy, D'Ella. Everybody that always comes through and shows us much support, man, is greatly appreciated. Even you, Kevin Doncic, K Saint, Eric Johnson back in the building. Good to see you, brother. Hope all is well. I know it's getting close to football season when certain people start showing up. East Coast Gridiron, thank you for showing up on Coach's channel. And just shout out to everybody in the panel, man. We had over 270 people in the chat tonight. I think the most I've ever had was 500. So we're gonna get to that 500 on a consistent basis, man, because they're gonna have to listen to us sooner or later,
And look,
man.
at the end of the day, guys, at the end of the day, we're all Giants fans, yeah? We're all Giants fans. We can have conversations, yeah? Not like child conversations, grown adult conversations. We're all fans of the same team. We can have conversations, for crying out loud. Let's
And the
not
only
get
time-
argumentative sometimes, eh?
Only time I call out fans is when they're always negative about anything the Giants do. It doesn't matter what they do; it's always negative. You guys need to go because you can't progress with people like that around you. I don't care
What?
what fact of life it is. And
Mhm.
Rutgers, I'm actually
Rutgers.
excited to see Rutgers this coming up year, man. I think them dudes are going to surprise some people this year, man. They might get 10 wins this year. You never know.
Don't get me started, Pat. Please don't get me started.
I'm more
because-
excited about the basketball team than the football team. You already know.
Oh yeah, the Rutgers basketball team is legit. But Michigan, they lost everybody. Ohio State lost Marvin Harrison Jr.
No, but they
and a
reloaded.
couple of guys.
They reloaded.
But that quarterback is suspect to me, bro. I don't
But
like that quarterback
it's
at all.
really is the question is going to be, is Oregon going to come in and really step up and produce? Because that's of all those Pac-10 teams, it's going to be them, and then USC, then Washington, and then UCLA. But yeah, Rutgers, and we don't have to face Michigan, Ohio State, Penn State this year, and we don't get Oregon either. So
So y'all playing people like Cal.
Cal is not in. We got USC, we got UCLA, we got Washington, and then we got, of course, Maryland, Indiana, Michigan State, Wisconsin, Illinois. Who am I forgetting? I'm forgetting someone.
Forget that, coach. You ain't said one team that the Rutgers should be scared of. You ain't said one team Rutgers should be scared of.
I'm not
Not
saying
one.
scared of anybody. I don't care if you give
But
me
that's what I'm
Ohio
saying.
State,
That goes to my
Michigan, or
point.
whatever. Yeah, you can give me all of them.
I
Rutgers is
still
not
think y'all
scared.
get at least 8 wins.
That's
Even
that's
if you
the
had to play Michigan,
that's the
Ohio State,
projection. Yes, it's right now. It's about 8 wins. Can we get 8 wins? So
Yeah.
and right now we're number 12 in terms of the recruiting rank. So we'll see. And you do
Watch out for
well.
the Rutgers boys, man, because they coach very well over there. at
Yeah,
Rutgers.
Coach, Ohio State is loaded. I definitely understand that. They are. I'm not sleeping on them. So the Big Ten and the SEC is going to be fun watching college football even more. But I'm also sad about the Pac-12. I mean, 108 years. I grew up on that, man. What can I say, man?
Yeah, they're
To
gone.
see them grow. It's going to be interesting. But you know what? At least
Let me
they're in
ask
the
you
best
something,
conference.
Coach. Is it?
Yes, sir.
Are you sadder to see the Pac-12, or were you sadder to see the Big East get dismantled?
Yeah, Big East
Pac-12.
got this battle too.
Pac-12.
I'm Big East, bro. That
No.
yeah.
Big East,
bro.
remember, NYJ, remember the issue with the Big East was you had the football side versus the basketball side. They had to separate. They just had to. There was no doubt
Yeah,
about it.
but I'm Big East basketball was different, bro. Like
Yes, I
compare
know.
compare Big East basketball to Pac-12 football. I think Big East basketball wins. That's my opinion.
Big East basketball was the shit back in the
Of course,
day.
but you're talking about the history and the prestige of the Pac-12, though. That's the whole point. You're talking about 108 years. Think about that. 108 years, man.
Long
Think of all the
time.
Heisman Trophy winners that you've had out of there.
I get it, Coach. I get it. And this is a hard debate for me because I know you got the upper hand with your college football knowledge, but Big East basketball changed lives, bro. It changed basketball, bro. Think of the players that came out of.
I know.
I don't know, man.
I know. I was right there in the 80s with St. John's and Georgetown.
St.
And
John's, Georgetown. Lord have
UConn came a
mercy.
little bit afterwards, but it was Syracuse, St. John's, Georgetown, who were the
Villanova, Seton Hall had some good years.
No, this was after. This was after. Initially, it was those three. Villanova came in '85 when they beat Georgetown for the championship. That's the Ed Pinckney game right there. And then that's when UConn started to make a change because they brought in Calhoun from, I believe he was at was he at Hartford or at Fairfield?
It was Fairfield.
It was at
Yeah, I
Fairfield
think
that
it
they
was
brought him in.
Fairfield.
And he started because UConn was trashed back then, so
Mhm.
he started to change the culture. So yes, you're right in terms of the Big East back then with Walter Berry, Pearl Washington. I mean, yeah, we can go down and talk about it. I understand.
Think
You're
about
talking
the
about
big men that came out of Georgetown:
yes,
Lonzo
yes.
Mourning, Patrick Ewing,
But
Hakeem.
bro,
Dikembe Mutombo. Like,
think
man,
about the Pac. You see, you're not looking at the Pac-12 prior to that, and I mean, think about the Heisman Trophy winners out of USC alone. Think about this: you had Warren Moon who played at Washington, and to play quarterback, he said, "I got to go to the CFL in '79 because the NFL wasn't going to give him a chance." And we saw he's a Hall of Famer. They had a lot of talent in the Pac-12 throughout the course of time, man. So that's why when you say
how many
compare the
titles did
two
they win?
in the Pac-12,
Yeah,
Yeah.
they had a lot of titles in the
bro,
Pac-12.
USC
USC alone.
Washington has won plenty.
USC, yeah, I give you that.
Washington won in, I believe, 91. I forgot prior to that. Now, again, I said 108 years. There were decades that the Pac-12 was
Yeah,
really on.
I can't hold you, coach. I can't even go back that far. I'm just on my timeline, bro.
That's why I'm saying, yo, bro, you know me with
the juice came from USC. Oh,
exactly.
Simpson.
Charles White was over there.
Lads. All due respect, I thought this was a football stream. We're talking about basketball now, are we?
No, we still
we
talking
are talking about football. Yeah, and basketball.
What it is
guess
because me, when I said the Pac-12, we were talking college football, and I said the Pac-12 because of they're shutting down with the way the college football landscape is changing right now. They got decimated, man. And ultimately, NYG asked me my question where I wanted the Pac-12 to be honest. As much as I like Washington and USC and Oregon in the Big Ten in terms of competition, I'm a competition player. But in terms of the history, I mean, the Pac-12. I mean, when you think the Pac-12, I mean, the Pac-12 used to call themselves the Conference of Champions. The Stanford used to win every year in a lot of overall in terms of sports, not just football, but basketball, men's and women's, swimming, diving, all that. Yeah, they were an elite program. So, and a lot of schools in the Pac-12 used to compete and win like that. So UCLA
used to be just like the SEC.
Yes.
Now, Coach Ed, I have a question for you, my friend.
Yeah.
Now, you said you spent some time in Germany, right?
As a little, I mean, after I was born, and then I was there for like 2.5 years.
So you know this in the soccer, there's a European competition going on, Germany versus Spain.
Mm-hmm.
Who do you think's going to win, Coach? Germany or Spain?
My heart is always going to be Germany, man.
Germany, all right.
I'm if it ain't the United States, it's Germany for me because I go home and I want to see where it all started for Coach Ed, you know, in terms of Germany, you know, because my dad was military, so you know he was stationed in Germany, so you know, and I see all the good pictures. I mean, my parents even got pictures of me as a little 1-year-old walking around with beer bottles, turning it up. I've been drinking since I was 1 year old, man. But this is the 60s now, so it's a different time, different era. You wasn't getting in trouble back then like that.
It is a different era. Miz, I have a question for you, sir. What do you think of that United States game against Uruguay? The referees, as a referee, Miz, like, what do you think of that, mate? That was just terrible.
Yeah, they lost that, right?
Well, I think the United States, they underachieved big time. So I got to put it on the head coach. I can't blame the ref. I got to blame the head coach.
Yeah, but he's giving a yellow card and letting them fucking play on. Like, oh, mate.
Well, United States always gets screwed by the refs around the league, but the coach didn't have this team ready for this tournament. And it's bad because you're losing to third world countries that they dominated in the past on their own home turf. So
does that mean they're out of the Olympics?
Uruguay's a good team, though.
They're out of the Gold Cup, but they're still going to be in the World Cup in 2 years. But they better show up with something better.
But are they in the Olympics at the end of the month?
Yeah, they are, but it's a younger team though. It's not like
Different,
that.
it's
Like,
different players, yeah.
yeah.
Okay, I got
A
you.
different
I got you.
cast of
Well,
players.
fellas, I'm extremely
sorry.
tired.
All right,
Yeah.
yeah.
I got
We're
one last
talking
thing
about
to
soccer
say.
on a football stream. Let's go.
I got one last thing to say, man.
England!
If you're into college football, tune in to Coach Ed Gladney during the college football season. He will be calling the games. And he does a damn good job calling those games. So if you're into college football, check out Coach Ed. I'll tune in on the later games because I have to work on Saturdays, but I'll come home and do a game or two before leather to the face if there's a good one. So I'd like to thank everybody for tuning in, having us at a consistent 250 tonight. Thank all you guys who tuned in.
Happy 4th of July. God bless America.
Right.
Same happy holidays.
Last thing, Evan Neal. Welcome to the Gulag.
Looks like we got another one! On the ground! This is the Gulag. In here, you fight to win back your life. Gates!